Hello, everyone, and today I'm going to be talking about how there's no point in you having a Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, or heck, even a Twitter account if you don't have enough followers. If you're not in demand, there's no point in keeping these social media sites up because nobody's even paying attention to them. And that's the thing. So if we're talking about whether or not you should have an account for your personal name or you should have a personal account, my opinion is that there's no point in that because unless you're someone who has a high demand for it, for the most part, you don't see celebrities with social media, for example. Well, not at least on Facebook. You don't see a personal page. You say a business page and a brand page, and that's about it. And this is why you should delete your social media in 2017 because there's no point in having it. I'm sure a lot of people have already done that, so they've already figured this out, but I'm just going to be repeating this message for all the late learners and all the late bloomers. And for all you people who listen to this and you want to start something big, you want to start some type of company. I know a lot of people like that idea of entrepreneurship. One thing to realize is it's probably better to just not have a personal page for any social media for whatever reason because it's time consuming. And what happens is that on social media, the problem is that unless you're raking in views and unless you're getting compensation from having people visit your websites, there's no point in keeping them up. I'm sure people already know this, but it's just a little extra reminder. And another thing is that it's like I say, what's the point of having that stuff up? No one's even going to be following your content. There's nobody who's going to be commenting on your post. Let me tell you, I've had a Facebook account. I've had about a good 4 of them. That sounds like a crazy amount, but I've gone through several phases in my life. So I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to hide who I am because I change a lot as a person and I'm very proud of that. And I'm glad that I'm the way I am. I know this is why I attract certain people a lot because I have that type of learning ability to learn so much and to share my knowledge with the rest of the world. And I don't mean to say that to sound egotistical, but I've had 4 Facebook accounts, I've commented, and I've made statuses, but no one's even read these statuses. And I was thinking to myself, well, what is it that people want? And I saw what other people do, and they just post stupid statuses. They get a couple more likes than me, 3 likes, 7 likes, and I'm wondering how are they able to do that. So Facebook, really, unless you're going to be a producer, there's no point in having it if you're a consumer. And that's why, for the most part, having a personal page is not a good idea. Having a page for your shop or your music or your YouTube channel, that's a good idea because that lets people, you can do more with a page than just with a simple personal one. And that's what I like about that. And like I was saying, I went back and I saw some of my accounts I had because I was getting ready to shut them down. And some of them I was commenting statuses back then and nobody even bothered to comment. Nobody even cared what I had to say. So the community is toxic. And what I noticed is that this is usually true with what I used to be into. I used to be a Christian. As you know, I used to have a Facebook where I wanted to add Christian people like me. I wanted to add people who had the same beliefs as me. Yet what I noticed is that with these particular people, instead of me getting followers, instead of me getting people who had to listen to the message I had to say, all that was happening was people was just unsubscribing, unfollowing me on Facebook, and they were deleting me. And then the next month and 3 months, they would want to send me a friend request again. So you get how bipolar these people are, the so-called people of God. It's like, okay, so you add me, right? Okay, I accept your friend request. Then all of a sudden, because I'm doing something different or I'm not uploading as much, then they unfriend me and they're not friends with me. But then all of a sudden, back when I do something crazy, such as put out a new single or I make a page called Galaxima, which is my music page. Shout out to that. I hope you guys check that out. Galaxima is my music page. And then all of a sudden, these people want to come back and they want to be my friend again. So there's a lot of bipolar, there's a lot of bipolar meditation along with these social media sites. And that's because it's made for you to be a consumer. You always want to be addicted. One thing you got to understand about Americans is that Americans are just not very good at paying attention. They have a short attention span. So you have to talk really fast. You have to be able to preach your words really quick. And you just have to dish out whatever content comes in your mind. And you have to keep things updated all the time. And unless you're going to be addicted to it and pretty much putting your life into it every single day, social media is a waste of time. There's no point in doing that. There's a lot of better ways to use your own way to promote yourself and to promote your ideas than to using social media. Because believe me, social media, if you don't have a high demand for it, such as 1,000 followers, 1,000 friends, if you're not getting that many people on your Instagram, there's no point in having it. Who's even watching your content? Who's listening to it? You have to try things new because the same technique, the same formula is not going to work in 2017. And that's what I'm stressing, and that's why it's important to realize that here are 3 better things to do instead of creating a Facebook, or instead of creating some type of other social media platform such as Twitter, such as a Google Plus, or some type of Instagram, something like that. Here's what you could do instead. Instead, what you could do is you could create an official website. A website with your domain, that you own the domain, you pay money for, and that will be stuffed with content. If you fill it up with content every day, eventually someone's bound to click on it. Make sure to keep your CEO tags updated, which those, if you don't know what those are tags that people find in the search engine. It's a search engine result and all that. So keep those updated. Also have blog posts, make a blog. There's great ways to do with a website because there's so many more things you can do. It's basically like a social media account, except that it's your own stuff and there's not as much regulations. You have your own terms of service. You don't have to adhere to Facebook. You don't have to waste your time. And the whole thing about being YouTube famous, Instagram famous, Facebook famous, who cares? It doesn't matter. I'm sure a lot of people already know that, however, but it's just a little extra thing. Like, no one cares about someone having 1,000 followers if they're not actively following. Now you have to keep the Pareto principle in mind here. If only 10% of your Facebook or whatever people are going to see your content, that means it's good to note that you have to keep in mind those 100 people. If you have 1,000 people following it, 100 people are going to watch it. So keep those 100 people in mind and make sure that you respond to them. Make sure that you're able to keep up with them, because that's more better than having some type of social media. Social media is a waste of time. And guess what I'm going to do? I will make fake accounts and I will put out my products because I'm a product tester, and that's my job to do it. And I don't mind doing that. I don't mind saying that I'm that type of way. I don't mind saying that I'm out there with these different types of accounts. And yes, maybe they are provocative, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because that's the whole point, is to get people to notice you. Because like I said, if you're not doing something crazy, people are not going to get the attention on you. In this society, people work 40 hours a week. We have low attention span due to television, media, internet. Okay, I get it. So have a great, obscure type of account. Have something different. And that's what I'm doing personally. I'm doing a different thing. I know people might say that's wrong for me to have 4 different accounts, but I personally don't believe that. I think that it's a great way to share things, to get traffic flowing into whatever I'm doing to a business. So that's my advice for all you young business people. I'm telling you to watch this. Like, just have something different besides an account, a social media account. Don't just have social media accounts. Have a website, have a design, build something. Number 2 on the list, I'd say that having a page, Facebook page, like I was saying, is good. Also having some type of email contact list. An email list is really good as well. You also have great contacts in the email list. That's very much recommended. I very much recommend that. That's a lot better than just having a bunch of followers on Twitter. You get what I'm trying to say. Followers on Twitter is not going to necessarily help. Same with the YouTube subscribers, doesn't necessarily help. However, people can come back and share it, and that's what's great about it. But a YouTube subscriber, for example, you can't translate that. You have to figure out a way to translate that into actual revenue. And I'm speaking solely for people who want to get serious, who like this stuff, who are interested in trying to understand how I do my certain styles. I like to do it like this personally. Yeah, I don't know what people's problem is. I think that they're just people who are crazy. People are going to get worse. But at the same time, I'm positive, and I know that people like they like to see something real. They like to see realness. And so that to me is a great way to replicate it. You want to replicate that emotion, that touch. That's what people are attracted to. That will get you more people listening to what you have to say. And I hope that you're able to do that. So thank you very much, and have a good one, y'all.